boys, gamers, functioning members of society. What is going on? I am Trevor. I go by TheMrTrails. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we have patch 1.9.2 launching this Thursday. We have the patch notes for that. Again, we didn't get a test for this one, so I'll just walk you through the patch notes and give my opinion on those, as well as we have a roadmap update, which I can give a little bit of information now that they have these things on the roadmap. But yeah, consider dropping a like for me, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here or just haven't subscribed already and you are just clicking on all of the videos and not subscribed. So again, this is going to be a bit of a smaller patch here. 1.9.3 is going to be the bigger patch, and I will take you through what stuff you can expect to see in 1.9.3 when we get to the roadmap section. So 1.9.2, once again, we bring in more island event improvements. They've been working on these the past few patches. You know, these aren't things that are going to majorly, you know, get people excited about playing the game, but they are very much needed quality of life features with some of these island events. There are certain pain points in why you wouldn't want to do certain ones as a newer player especially. So these are necessary changes. So first up here we have Shards of Chaos, which is getting a partial buff and a partial nerf. Spawn is no longer going to spawn at all in this event, so good nerf. But a buff here is that the crystals were attached to a particular behemoth, so if you killed that behemoth, then the crystals would just stop spawning. They have changed that. So for this below zero island event, I'm kind of confused on this one because a lot of what they've done has been removing modifiers, but this one has 3 modifiers against a single behemoth and then 2 modifiers against a dual behemoth and a single behemoth. I'm not entirely sure what the explanation of the decision behind this is, but I would guess it has something to do with them taking away the increased power in the later stages, so they're like, hey, let's just throw in more modifiers in there, right? The Dark Matter Island event, I believe, is a later hunting ground. It says it can now spawn Riftstalker, but they have kept with the theme of taking away the faunas from the island. But they have kept with the theme of taking away a lot of fauna from the island events. So in stage 2, on both of these 2 events, the fauna will no longer spawn, and is instead dual behemoth fights on both of those. And then they change umbral zones to umbral instability. So this is the shroud orb that you have to blow up before it explodes and gives you 1 HP. Sudden Death Island event is now 3 stages long. They added fauna to stage 2. Ooh, and stage 2 revives all players and restocks equipped consumables on completion. Let's get more island events like this. And then stage 3 is a fight against an advanced behemoth like Riftstalker or Stormclaw. So the notes here is, in playtest we found Sudden Death was a fun late game event that really tests Slayer's knowledge on earlier behemoths, but low engagement, and I would definitely agree with that. In terms of hunting grounds as a late game player, I pretty much avoid all events entirely. There's really no reason for me to do them. One of the only reasons we've had to actually do events in recent times has been the crate refresh, so we can restock our consumables. But if we actually get a consumable restock in this event, that might actually be a reason to do this event. So Infernal Gaze, this one's on the Blaze Works, and it gave out fewer rewards, but now has a 3rd round to increase the total rewards. They've removed danger zones from stage 2. Stage 3 is going to have splitting lava and danger zones, and Phalanx is going to be a potential spawn in stage 3. Okay. I wonder if this Phalanx is going to be a different level than the Forge Phalanx, because if it's not, I mean, I guess you just basically you don't have to run around the map to spawn Phalanx or whatever. Speaking of that, it would be a nice quality of life to just go into the arena and just like throw something in the Forge or something to spawn Phalanx. Because once you know where the valves for Phalanx are, it's more of a chore than it is like, you know, magical or whatever. So, the High Alert Island event. This one is on like a ton of islands, and you would be hard-pressed to actually want to do these in a lot of cases. Again, just because tougher behemoth, it's slow to kill, right? There's not a real reason to do them. But they changed quite a few things about it, so let's go through those. They removed the time limit, but you will fail if the danger meter gets to 100%. Behemoths are now at most 1 level above the island they appear on. I think previously it was 5 originally. I think they cut it down to 3. Maybe now it's down to 1. I might be wrong about cutting it down to 3, but it was originally 5. That's how we had level 25 Shroud back in the day. Substantially increased the stagger health, elemental health, and regular health of these behemoths. And then they've removed the part health reductions, but increased the power of the behemoths. So let me get this straight. So they reduced the level of the behemoths, but then increased the power of the behemoths. It literally just cancels itself out. And then on top of that, you also just increased the health of behemoths beyond that. So I still don't think there's a point in doing this event unless you just want to challenge yourself, but unless the rewards are enough, which I don't even know personally, just because I don't do these except for, you know, on my alt account when I need to do events for Aether Sparks and stuff. So if you watched my 49-minute Reforge video yesterday, which I will put up there if I'm not terrible at my job, then you will have recalled me saying that some of these bounties are going to be changed, and this is what has changed. So, kill behemoths of 2 different elements now requires 6, 9, 12 instead of 8, 12, 16. This is still trash. Don't ever take this bounty. It takes way too long to complete. You will have been, unless you have literally no bounty tokens and you can't afford to throw them away, then you can take this, but still never take this bounty if you're trying to be fast about using your bounties. And then the wound damage bounties are now 15,000, 22,500, 30,000, and 40,000, 60,000, 80,000 for just the regular generic wound damage. I don't know if it needed 8 times as much wound damage necessary, but I can agree with them doing it because it was just such an easy bounty to just throw acidic on, kill 1 behemoth, and get done. So for the gold generic wound bounty, I think if you did put on acidic and then threw on wound tonic, this could still be possible in 1 escalation, maybe 2. If this is 2, then that kind of really bums this out. But without wound tonic, 10,000 was done in like 2 rounds. So with wound tonic, you could be looking at a 1 escalation clear on this gold bounty still. So we have a couple of glider changes, which are going to be accompanying a new feature that is coming in 1.9.3. Again, we will get to that in the roadmap shortly. Some Behemoth bug fixes. Apparently Frostwolf wouldn't flee on Cold Runner Key at 100% danger. So on Bloodshot Shroud's slam attack, the damage window was before it actually hit the ground, so you would have to dodge earlier than the visual hitbox would suggest, and they have changed that. And then they gave the Chronivore a facelift, like a legitimate facelift, I guess. And then the hunger special meter no longer resets on behemoth kills when feast ability is not active. I think I remember this being a thing a while ago. I'm surprised it wasn't already fixed. Like, whenever the last time I played the hunger was, like, I'm pretty sure that that was a thing back then. And kind of miscellaneous stuff, a bunch of challenge fixes, walking near the tree before the 4th arena on Blaze Escalation no longer results in unappealing camera zooms. That is a weirdly specific bug. Alright, so that was pretty much it for the patch notes. Let's get into the roadmap now, because there is a ton of updates here, and I can talk about a little bit of this stuff based on what they say here. So, we have the Glider Challenge. I forget if this was on the roadmap before, but this is already in testing. We've already played around with it. So based on our testing, there will be a point in doing these things, not just for fun, but as a practical purpose. If I had to compare this to something, this is very, very similar to a Spyro race. I can't find the footage of it because I had no clue what it's called, but there's a Spyro racetrack where you just fly. I don't know how to explain it properly, but it will make a lot of sense when you see it. And if you remember Spyro, then maybe you could help me out, post a link to a video of said like glider thing in the comments or whatever. But yeah, glider challenge, pretty fun. Another thing we've tested already is Radiant Koshai. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what this design thing is, but I am a huge fan of Radiant Koshai. I will say that. You know, obviously there were issues with it, but based on the test, I would say Radiant Koshai is probably better than Umbral Koshai, in my personal opinion. Another thing we tested out was the Radiant Omnicell. I can't really tell you if it's going to be overpowered or just right or underpowered, because any values we had for anything are probably getting changed. There are a lot of moving parts to this Radiant Omnicell, so who knows like what the end product is exactly going to look like. So island improvements, they started work on Conundrum Rocks. Conundrum Rocks looks great, I will say that. Conundrum Rocks looks great. Nothing much has happened on Paradox Breaks yet, but when the glider courses come out, those will be out on Conundrum Rocks and Paradox Breaks at the same time. They have 2 different sets of courses, so it'll be fun. Reach of Radiance Hunt Pass, I didn't check to see if I could see this already, but that'll be 1.9.3, I believe. All of those things we just went over are 1.9.3. And then the new Hunt Pass systems that won't expire are still in testing. I didn't get a chance to actually test that myself, but we'll see how that goes. Quest gaps, so basically there's going to be more quests releasing in 1.9.3 as well. That will be more for the early game progression type stuff. Just to give the early game players something specific they can be doing at each point in the progression line. And now in production is Radiant Escalation, Radiant Boreas, new Behemoth, Heroic Rainbow Crown, Springtide, and Valamir improvements. From what we can assume at this point, it seems like Radiant Escalation and Radiant Boreas are going to drop at the same time, and it seems like this is going to be patch 2.0 or 1.10, but what we're unsure about is when the timeline for this new Behemoth is going to be, and completely unsure about the exact details. What we do know is that the Chronivore is going to be the end escalation boss for Radiant Escalation. And so what I believe Aurelia has said publicly is that this Behemoth will be replacing the Chronivore on Paradox Breaks, but I don't believe it's going to be the exact event style that the Chronivore has right now. The Heroic Rainbow Crown is coming, and it will get me to do heroic escalations again. I have been doing them, it's just there's really not a reason to do them. You know, I do them with friends and people on Twitch or whatever, but the Valamir improvements are coming, much needed. After these, Phoenix Labs, if you're watching, do Charog and Sporestruck Charog. Big request. Do Charog and Sporestruck Charog after Valamir. Please and thank you. And then Springtide, which we know is going to be in 1.9.4, alongside more of those bug fixes. So Valo might be in 1.9.4. Oh, we have 1.9.5 here as well. So we will be getting 2 smaller patches before the 2.0/1.10 update. So yeah, I think that's about all we have to cover today. Quick patch, quick roadmap update. Check out the 49-minute Reforge, and check out the brand new Slayer Reforge up there also, if I don't suck at my job. Once again, drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I've been Trevor, I go by the Mr. Trails. Catch you guys next time.